Hi, I'm Anya Fernald, and welcome to the Food Craft Basics series from Eat Real. So today I'm going to show you how to go from this to this in just a few easy steps. Today we're going to work with a pork butt and some pork belly. You can also make this type of recipe with beef or with lamb. So we're ready to make our sausage. Let me introduce my meats. First off, a boneless shoulder and a big chunk of pork belly. I like the shoulder because it's an inexpensive big chunk of lean meat. This is also called a Boston butt or a picnic ham. That's what you'll see it. The butcher's boned it out for me and also taken the skin off. This belly, I took the skin off myself. It's got the skin on here. Basically just the same thing you make bacon out of, a nice source of fat. Other things that you could use to make this type of sausage would be a ham, a fresh ham, and also the back fat. The fat back is a little bit of a more rigid fat. I like the belly because it softens up a bit more, but either one is delicious for sausage. We've got a ratio here of 30% fat to 70% lean. I also have added in a little bit of boiled pork skin, about 10% for the total meat. And I boiled this for 2 hours. You'll see it's nice and flexible. I'm going to use this to give a little bit more mouthfeel and length to my sausage without it having too much fat. So this collagen, this gelatinous substance here actually makes the sausage have a longer finish and be really, really rich. So what I'm going to do is grind my meat, mix in my spices, and pack it into casings. So let's go. Start grinding. So Matthew and I today are going to make a very simple sausage, just kind of nothing but the basics. I've got some pepperoncino, which is just spicy chili flakes, some ground black pepper, some ground dried sage, some dextrose, which is just a form of sugar. It's a nice way to add sugar to sausage because it's a very fine grind and it also browns up really nicely. And then, of course, some salt. Some other things you could add to this type of sausage would be, of course, garlic, fennel seed, any number of different fresh herbs, cayenne, paprika. Anything else you can think of?
Yeah, I mean, I really like liquids. I think that really adds a nice brightness. Like a vinegar, like a red wine vinegar, adds a nice brightness and acidity that contrasts well with the fat. Also, regular red wine or white wine would be really nice in here as well.
So again, we're going to go for something that we'd like the taste of, and it's all about finding a flavor that you want to eat. That's it. Go, Matthew, please put the meat in the bowl. Fabulous job.
Yeah,
I'm going to use a ratio of about 1 tablespoon of salt for every pound of meat. I have 10 pounds, actually 10 pounds of meat mixture. So I've got 10 pounds, so I'm going to use 10 tablespoons of salt. See if I can count. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
8.
Coming soon to Sesame Street. 9, 10. Okay, so we've got 10 tablespoons of salt. And then my dextrose is measured out. I have 1.5 tablespoons of dextrose. Now for my spices, as I mentioned, it's a base mixture. I'm going to put some dried sage in and some pepperoncino. And then, of course, a little bit of fresh ground black pepper. Now, this is going to be a base mixture. We can, of course, spice it up a lot more. I really like to taste the sausage as I go. Can you get that pan hot?
Yep.
And we'll taste the mixture. Now, making sausage is actually just like making any other recipe. You can taste it as you go. So let's get this into the pan. To do a test run, you're just going to take a tiny pellet, like about 1 tablespoon, and just sizzle it up in a pan and then taste it. In we go. Boom. So now we're going to taste this little patty and see how the seasoning turned out. There you go.
Thank you. Delicious.
So good. The final stage. We've made our sausage stuffing and it's time to pack these. So I've got my sausage stuffer here. Matthew, you want to put all our meat into the canister. And this stuffer here is a pretty large stuffer. I have a really big stuffer just because I'm a big badass. But if you have a more discrete consumption of sausage or production of sausage, you can also get a tiny sausage stuffer, like one that's a manual crank. These come in all sizes. I've taken my hog casings and I soaked them a little bit in vinegar and water, just 1 tablespoon or 2 of vinegar in here. And the reason why is that they can have a little bit of a spunky smell to them, so I like to vinegar them just because they smell better. They are intestines after all. And also I've rinsed them out with water. So I actually ran water through the whole casing. So I'm using a natural casing here, which is the middle intestine of a hog. You can also buy a synthetic casing. If I wanted a much smaller sausage, I'll be using a lamb or a sheep casing. The reason I like the natural casing is because it just, it has a nice kind of crunch to it when you bite into the sausage. It also holds really well when you cook it. The downside with the natural casing is they're more likely to break, so they can get some rips and tears. But I think the upsides are pretty significant because the flavor's a lot better and the crunch is a lot nicer. Let's stuff. Come on. Go. Okay, so with the stuffer, the reason I like this type of manual stuffer is just because being manual like this and not an automatic one, it's easy to regulate. So you can have some, misfires when you're stuffing sausage because a lot of meat comes out pretty quickly. It can be, you're going a little faster. It's good to have somebody helping you out, but I really like the manual stuffing because you can regulate it more easily, especially if you're just starting out. So there's two ways to go about linking sausage. One is you can just run sausage off and then take a break and tie them like this, right? The second approach is that you can have your sausage grinder go more slowly and you can tie as you go. Either way, you'll get your links. So I'm going to link these off here and we're good to go. This is a fun and easy way to handle all of your excess pork. Sausage.